everybody. I am so excited to be talking to you today. And Sister Harris is going to be joining us momentarily. But I am just grateful to God. It has been a beautiful Sunday. I hope that all of your churches and services were well. But let's dive into talking about TM Youth Camp and TM PAL Camp 2 that are coming up. As many of you know, the dates for camp, TM Youth Camp starts on Sunday, July 7th. We are asking everybody to be on the grounds before 4 o'clock because we have to have an orientation. And so if you have a camper in sixth grade through about age 25, be on those grounds July 7th before 4 o'clock. You are not going to regret it. Camp is July 7th, Sunday, July 7th through the 12th. And Sister Harris is here. Yay!
Hey, I made it.
And PAL Camp starts July 8th. So PAL Camp actually starts on a Monday, but it also ends on the 12th. So we want to get into some questions because we know in doing it this way that there are questions that keep coming about in terms of how is this going to work? Can I go to both? That kind of thing. And so we're just really excited to share with you what the Lord has given us. I think we can hit a few basics first on both camps in terms of just what to expect. I know there's always questions about the dress code. Is there a dress code for PAL Camp?
No, not particularly. We don't have to be in black and white or blue and white, but we are asking that the ladies not wear pants on the grounds, and that everything is conducive to us being able to, come to the services at youth camp. Those that will have that kind of clearance. So no, but yes.
Well, TM Youth Campers, you will be relieved to know that you do not have to worry about what you're going to wear that week again because you will be wearing white tops and plain blue or black bottoms. The girls are still in skirts. The boys can wear pants or shorts below their knees, but there's definitely a dress code for TM Youth Camp, right? So that's a big one. Are the PAL campers staying in the dorms?
There is a room in the dorms for PAL campers, but we also have an apartment building that we have room in. And then they're also allowed to stay off grounds because there are a few hotels in our area. So PAL camp has that option.
Will PAL campers be lodging with the youth campers?
No, they
Okay.
will not.
And youth campers, just so you know, we will also be in dorms. The boys' dorm is going to stay the same as last year. It is big enough to house all the young men. The girls' dorms, we will probably shift this year, a few of them. The grounds has reopened the cafeteria. Last year, we had a makeshift cafeteria. This year, they're in the real cafeteria. So we're going to be moving. So that'll be exciting. But those dorms are assigned for the youth campers. So the camps will be separate. And let's see here. Yes, black. We are doing some black. I see your comments, Brother John. We have expanded. They can wear black or blue bottoms.
Still plain though.
Still plain, and that is important.
Yeah.
Um, so other questions we are getting in terms of cost for PAL Camp. What is the cost for PAL Camp?
PAL camp for those who come in on that Monday, the cost is 200. But if they want to come in with campers, if they're bringing campers, it's 250 like youth camp.
Okay. Okay.
Now, let me say this because that's if they're staying on the grounds. Other than that, there is a reduced cost for if they want a meal package versus if they don't want their meals and they're not staying on grounds, then it's only a $50 registration fee.
Okay. That's really good to know. For TM youth campers, the staff cost is $200 for the week, and the camper cost is $250. Both of those will go up after June 1st. So please, please, please register before June 1st. You can put half down if you register before June 1st, and that will secure the pricing. So we're encouraging everybody, please, by June 1st, you want to pay your half down. So one of the main questions we've been getting, and I'm watching the chat too a little bit. Um, Is group Sister Harrison, we're gonna make it work. So they asked, is group registration available? Somewhat, you can register more than one person in the platform that we use for the application. So in that regards, yes, group registration is available, but it doesn't discount your pricing at all. And whenever possible, I would ask, even if you do group registration, I need the context for the actual parents for the registration. Now, as far as PAL Camp, I don't know, are you guys allowing group registration? Because you don't need waivers and all that.
We don't need the waivers, but I will say this, that for those attending PAL Camp, if they want to be able to go to our night services, there will be a special clause on there. They have to sign to allow us to get clearance, whether it's through getting the criminal history checks or, delving further into their recommendations because of the separation of youth camp and PAL Camp. So they can register as groups just like they can in January. But again, it depends. If they want to go to anything that has to do with the youth camp, we'll have to get a waiver for them and make sure that they're clear to be there.
So to be clear, PAL Camp is not having night services.
We won't have night service. They're going to have so much fun all day that we think that they'll need that time to either work on the project, which should be fun in the evenings, but they just may want to rest too. We're dealing with pastors and leaders, and we want them to get that downtime as well. So the schedule is conducive to that, but it's a little bit more, I would say, involved during the day on the campus. So yeah, they'll have that time in the evening and they can make the option. Pastors and parents have always been welcome to drop in on TM Youth Camp, as long as their children are there or their members. So we'll still allow that, but we're going to have special clearance for that.
Okay. And just to be clear, the youth camp volunteers can attend PAL events, but the PAL campers cannot attend youth camp, except for maybe some night services. So if you sign up for youth camp, you have access to the PAL classes and workshops during the day, as long as your position allows it. But if you sign up for PAL camp, you do not have access to the youth camp stuff.
I want to add that we made the schedule very conducive so that Taquoia and I could be at both if we had to be. So it does allow the support of the youth camp staff. However, their position that they serve, they would still have to be on post on time, but that should allow them to at least attend the workshops.
Yeah. So in going to youth camp, because we need you so much, we're kind of giving you access to 2 for 1. Mm-hmm. And just going to PAL camp, you get to rest. So pick your poison. Both would be good. Both would be good. Let's see here. I'm looking at the questions and different things as they come in. If you could, Sister Harris, what would you say to the first-time youth campers?
Well, you know what? I've really been thinking about this because I am so excited about camp. And I know if you've ever been around me, you know I'm excited about what God does at camp every year. But the fact that he's already spoken, I want to say to the youth camp, those who are coming, first of all, we're hoping that you're coming because you want something from God. Because this camp is not about playing ball or swimming or any of that. You can do that 51 other weeks of the year. This camp is especially set aside for you to get what you need from the presence of God. It's this quiet time away from the everyday hustle and bustle of life. And it's also time for you to just draw near to God. And I promise you, he'll draw near to you. If you're looking for that precious time in God's presence, then you definitely want to come to youth camp. God has spoken, and what he's going to do, I'm telling you, he already had you in mind, and I've been praying that you get there. I believe he's already going to make the way financially. He's going to provide the transportation. You just need to make up your mind that you want what God wants for you at this camp. It is you'll make some lifetime friends, but I promise you, you'll have a lifetime experience.
God's going to move at TM Youth Camp. Last year was phenomenal. We had 59 that actually got the Holy Ghost. We baptized 37, and the Lord came through there like a fire. The theme was kept. And this year, the theme is you wish. I'm not going to tell, but it is amazing. And we're already excited. So I'm seeing a few questions, and I have some too. I know we're jumping around a lot, so I'm trying to think of a way to add a little bit more order, but we want to answer your questions, so I'm just going to keep them coming. PAL Camp, who should attend Pastors and Leaders Camp?
Pastors and leaders.
What about aspiring leaders or preachers?
No,
Or it's
no.
not for the preachers?
No, it's not. No, preachers are fine as long as they're pastoral approved, right? But it's important that you be in that position in your church. This camp is about strategy and it's about sound doctrine. And so I know you're going to get strength from it, but it's about strategy and sound doctrine. So we're going to be tackling some things to help us grow our ministries. And if you're not in a position to, contribute that, then you might have find a way to be on youth camp staff.
And by grow your ministries, we're not talking about your personal ministry. We're talking about you already have the position within your church structure to affect change.
Exactly.
So some may be ascertaining towards becoming this or that, but actually youth camp might still be a better fit than PAL, because this is for the people who have the positions already.
Yes.
Okay. Is there
definitely want your pastors there,
yes.
assistant pastors, youth leaders, women's ministry, men's ministry. We definitely children's ministry, and particularly those who are starting schools, Christian schools at your churches. We want to share with you and even hear from you some of the things that God has taught you. But we've been doing Christian school now for 23 years, and we want to help anybody who wants to establish that in their churches.
Yes. Somebody asked, and I think this is sweet, is there a curriculum breakdown we can view for TM Camp?
You wish. You
Oh,
guys are not.
I don't know if they've ever been to TM Camp.
You're not getting the theme out of us. You know, the way I do the theme, Takoya, you know that if you preach the message too soon, then it loses effectiveness. We got to drop it when it's right. And so there will be those who have agreed and have been called to help us as far as teaching the lessons, and they will know the theme ahead of time. But I trust them with it because they understand preparing the message. Everybody else, when we tell you, it's going to speak. If we tell you ahead of time, you go, oh, yeah, that's good. When we tell you, it's going to speak to you. And not only is it going to speak, God's going to perform it. So, no, we're not preaching it early. No preaching it.
And we don't write a curriculum like that. You know what? I've been getting a lot of email requests for curriculum just from our church, from our youth department. And we have some. If you want to go to presstoprayer.com, I can get you there. But if you're looking for a curriculum that is not exactly how we approach camp, like she said, our workshop leaders do have a lesson plan and that kind of thing. And to those of you watching, I see like Airlise on here and different ones. We have those early this year. It looks like they're going to come early, y'all. It's already in motion. It's already coming together. So you guys will get your lesson plan soon if you're coming. But yeah, we don't really do a curriculum like that. So next question. Let's see here. Is the calendar online? The schedule?
The calendar has not been posted. We have given it to the university, but we haven't shared it just yet. If you've ever been to TM Youth Camp, you know that we start in the morning. We start with morning prayer, breakfast. things like that. Then we come together for a corporate morning worship. Then we break down into our morning Bible classes and group discussions. Then we go from there into afternoon break with lunch. We return with afternoon worship, and then we go right into our afternoon workshops. The difference in the afternoon workshops is you get to choose which one you want to go to. In the morning, it's assigned by groups, grades mostly, and ages. And then you go into afternoon work. Afternoon break is about, I'm not sorry, not afternoon break. I'm sorry, evening break, where we have dinner and you get some rest time, you get some downtime. Prayer starts at 7 and church starts at, I would say camp starts at 7:30 on each night. So that's the daily schedule from Monday to Friday. I mean, Monday to Thursday.
And
Friday's
we
a little different because we leave at noon.
sorry. We might be able to show a sample schedule, like a tentative. Some things are going to change just a little bit. The PAL camp schedule, I don't know anything about yet, but we might be able to do a tentative one because it is pretty much the same schedule every year. We were also asked, is there something we can give first timers to explain what to expect? I'm gonna let Sister Harris answer this too, but we are working on that. We are working on a series of testimonials and encouraging words from former campers who are just going to share their experience. You should see that coming up on our TM Camp Facebook pages, which we just added, I believe, Instagram. We have some new social media handles, so go find us. Please support those. But we're going to be sharing that stuff because we know that what encourages the young people to come to camp, one of the aspects of it is the other young people telling them you need to come to camp and how exciting it is and what God does. Because sometimes just saying you should go to church camp and you're going to wake up early and go to church 3 times a day doesn't always work. So, so we're working on that. Did you want to add, Sister Harris, to that?
No, that was good. That was good.
Okay. So please follow us on social media because that is the next 6 weeks. We're going to be hitting that very hard, why they should come to camp. But ultimately, get them excited about God, get them excited about the possibility of seeing him through the eyes of other young people and what he's going to do because it's pretty amazing.
If you were going to football camp, you go looking to play football and learn how. If you were going to a cheerleading camp, or I was in marching band when I was in high school, you go there anticipating what you know that camp is about. This camp is about your personal relationship with God. And I want you to come to spend time going after that. And so the schedule, yes, it may not seem like, well, when we get to play ball the week after or the week before and the rest of your life, you know what I mean? But this camp was given by God. He said, I'm going to use it to reach this generation. I promise you, if you come looking for him, you'll find him. And so I don't want you to think about all the stuff you're missing. Look at all the things you get, and that's God.
Definitely. The next question I see is, when is the deadline for the class discount? That is June 1st. That flyer, you can find everything on the tmyouthcamp.com page. And there's a Q&A section as well that has this information. Some of the things we may not hit in the live, but a lot of it you can find there. I do want to throw out a couple of other questions. What do you expect in the dorms? Because the young people want to know that, and so do those who are debating from PAL. Should I stay in a hotel, or what's the dorm going to be like?
Well, I'll tell you, the dorms, these are college dorms. And one thing I love about Taylor University, and you can go online and check it out, it's in Upland, Indiana. It's a very clean campus. And I was very impressed with the way they keep their property up nice. And I want you to know that, yes, you're going to have somebody else in your room. But if you register, you can always check, hey, I know who I want a room with. And if they fall within the same group, and Taquay can talk to you more about how we decide that. But it's important that you understand there's going to be at least 2 people in that room you and someone else. The bathrooms are in the hallways, but they keep those bathrooms clean for us. Um, and so I feel like the dorms are great. If you've ever been to TM Youth Camp before 2023, you will feel like you're at the Hilton or Embassy Suites, um, because these grounds are wonderful compared to where we've been. But even though all of them have been great, these grounds are wonderful. So you only have two per room. And Takoya, you can dive in and talk about how it's divided. For PAL Camp, we'll have our own dorms, but yes, there's still dorms. And so you'll still have the public bathrooms with the showers and all that. If you ever went to camp with us before, you know a little bit about that, or if you ever stayed on the ground where they had community, bathrooms and stuff on the floors or in the dorms, it's much like that. It's just a little nicer. Remember, it's college, and so they keep it up a little bit more than some places we've been, just because they got to keep their business right. So check out their grounds online. That's Taylor University in Upland, Indiana. And I think you'll be very pleased with the grounds. But what was the other part of that question?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
There is boys dorms and there's girls dorms, so they will not be in the same dorms. And yes, they're PAL camp areas as so they're separate from the kids. And yeah, we're going to have rules about that as well, because we don't want the two camps being in some of the areas. Even if you bring campers, you'll have to have special clearance for that kind of stuff to go to their dorms.
Definitely. And we do that on purpose. We believe there are plenty of great people in the world, and we thank the Lord for every leader and every staff member who's coming to camp. But it is important to us to know who's on the grounds and where they are. And I say that even as a parent, I have a seventh grade, well, she'll be in seventh grade in those dorms. So I think everybody can understand why you can't just mix between camps and you can't just go where you want to go. We have to have some structure and clearance. It's just the day we live in. So this year, there's actually more of a tracking system in the youth camp where you'll be scanning in and out of classes, into night service, and it will help such that nobody gets misdirected or wanders off the path without us knowing exactly where you are. And so we're looking forward to TM Youth Camp this year. But yeah, the dorms are a huge question for TM Youth Camp. And you do get to pick your roommate, but make sure they pick you because that helps a lot. And make sure you read the criteria that's on the application for the people you can pick, because we want you happy for the week. But if you don't read or follow instructions, that makes it very hard to comply with what you're asking. So go to tmyouthcamp.com to register or to look into more of those questions. And like I said, we have more videos coming. Let's see here. Incoming question. If you bring junior campers, are there arrangements for them during the PAL sessions, or are they allowed to go with their parent? I think you're talking about underage. So they're not in sixth grade. I'm going to answer this like they're not in sixth grade. So they're not actually campers. They're children. What say you on that one?
Well,
PAL camp.
PAL camp can. Okay, yeah. PAL camp, you cannot bring children. All right. They can only come with you if they're attending youth camp. So they have to fit the criteria of youth camp. But that means they're sixth grade or going into the sixth grade through 24 years old. PAL camp, you cannot bring children.
Okay. Well, that was easy. For TM Youth Camp, we have a limited amount of space for children who are not camp age. So we do have some staff that have to bring underage children, but even within the camp application itself, that space is limited. And there's not, I'm so sorry, there's not a discounted price for underage children that you have to bring. So it is the full price of the camper. And that's just because that's the price we get charged from the ground. So that's, yes. But if you're looking for a camp for children, September 13th through the 15th, TM Children's Camp is all that. And the Lord moves heavily. But July won't be their month. So let's keep going. What are the start times and end times for PAL Camp sessions, including registration time?
Now we're asking PAL Camp to register by 4 o'clock on Monday, which is July the 8th. You'll be welcome with the reception on that Monday, and you'll get more information about the week. You get a chance to get settled in, and you'll also get a chance to get the information packages, and you'll kind of know then where we're going with that week when you check in on Monday from 4 to 6. Now, if you're not a part of the dinner package, you can check in, let me say, from 4 to 6. But if you're part of the dinner package, you need to be there by 5 because dinner's served at 5 on that every night. Every night served at 5.
Cool. I don't know. So, can you pick two roommates? And I guess I can answer this one though. You can. We just may end up picking one of them for you. There may be, depending on the dorm we actually settle in, there is a possibility that we will have three in some rooms. But right now, the way it's set up, all the rooms are two. So we just may have to pick between those two for you because there's only two beds in most of the rooms. Sister Harris, what'd you think of the food last year? Taylor University. Did you eat it? Oh gosh, this is about to be a confession. Did you ever go to the cafeteria?
Not once. I had food in my room.
Okay.
And so that was, yeah. And sometimes when it came mealtime, I'm tired. So I'd rather go to my room, grab something to eat, and go to sleep and get ready for the next service. That's just being honest. But I heard good things. I heard that there was always choice and that people got what they needed and wanted. And I didn't hear any complaints about it, actually. And I asked plenty of campers about it. So they didn't tell me. They might have told you. But they didn't tell me they had any complaints. But on the side note, that's one thing I love about campus too, because we have food in our rooms.
Yes, you're allowed to.
Your kids, the campers can bring snacks for their rooms. And PAL Camp, I have some apartments available that can sleep 4 people. Okay. So you want to know who they are. You want to bring people with you that you're comfortable with. But we got a stove, a refrigerator. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. But we got a living room and everything. So the apartments are so nice and so comfortable on campus that I really just ate in my room. So sorry.
Well, I thank everybody in the comments who is testifying to the food. Thanks, China. She said it was good. Amanda said it really wasn't bad. And I did go to the cafeteria. So
I did go to Chick-fil-A though.
I ate in the cafeteria. It was not bad at all. Like she said, there's always options. And for those of you that have allergies, they already, because the school is preparing all the food, they accommodate all of that. There's always choices. Yeah, if you have celiac or or anything like that, or milk or nut allergy, it's all accommodated. The food is good. And like Sister said, there's a Chick-fil-A, and then there's this knockoff of Starbucks, but it was good too.
It was good too. And that's the building that we have our church services in. It also has a restaurant area there. And I did ask Chick-fil-A to be open until at least 5 o'clock, which is our dinner hour. And so we'll see. She's going to work on that. But they are there. And like she said, the coffee shop, between Chick-fil-A, coffee shop, and what I had in my room, I was hooked up all week.
Oh yeah, if there's a Chick-fil-A, I will survive. So is Chick-fil-A going to be open again? Yes, it will.
Yes.
Hours we're working on that because right now they say lunch, we say lunch and dinner. So we'll see. For parents attending PAL Camp that have a child at TM Youth Camp, how do they get clearance to check on their child? I'm gonna let you answer that, and then I want to chime in.
Well, that's part of the registration, is letting us know, and we'll make sure that's on your badge. And when the camp staff sees that on your badge, they'll give you clearance to go in.
And I would say be prayerful and cautious about that. I have found that when parents come, sometimes the kids tend to cling to them and they don't get the whole experience. So checking in, you're more than welcome to check in. We're not doing anything you can't see your child, but you don't want to be up under your child like that. You want them to have this experience. And so we have to give them that space, but you can definitely check in and you can put that on your application. If one is 22 and the other is 24, can they do them together as long as they provide? Yeah, that's fine. The
If they're
age,
the same gender, right?
yeah, as long as it's same genders. I guess I have to say that. And same gender at birth? Do I have to say that too? Um, okay, I don't want to get in trouble on this live, but it's true anyhow. But we group them mostly by middle school, high school, and then young adults. And so if you pick somebody in those ranges, you should get the person you want. There may be some changes to that, but there should not be many. I got another question. How do we reflect on our application for TM Youth Camp that we want to attend PAL Camp sessions? I think it's on there though. Do you know, Sister Harris? Have you looked?
I'm not sure if that's on the staff information, but or youth camp. But if it isn't, we will make that correction because it needs to be on there.
I believe that's on the application now, so that staff members that qualify for PAL Camp do not need to go to PAL Camp to register unless, okay, hold on. If you're going to PAL Camp alone, go to the PAL Camp application. If you're going to TM Youth Camp and you want to attend PAL Camp as well, go to the Youth Camp application, because I believe you have the option there of attending, say you're going to attend some PAL workshops.
Yes. And we'll just pull it off of there and expect you.
Yeah, it is on the staff application.
Okay,
Thanks,
great.
Amanda. Good looking out.
Thank you.
I thought it was, but I haven't looked since we wrote it. So, yes, you can choose that as an option on the TM Youth Camp application. You can say, I want to attend PAL Camp whenever possible. And it may not be possible all the time, but you will be able to definitely make some things and probably have the access to the recordings of others. Okay, hi. Is it possible for people to attend 1 to 2 days, or is it required to stay the full camp week? For PAL, I don't know.
We discourage part-time. You know, that just doesn't fulfill the purpose of the either camp. We've always discouraged it for youth camp, and we're going to discourage it for this camp as well. You know, this is it takes away from our ordained purpose in sowing in your life, and we don't want to have some one day, next day, two other people. We just don't want to do all that. We want to start together and possibly end together. And we do know that on that Friday, people have pulled one way or the other. They have to be somewhere that Friday night, so they have to pull out. We try to discourage that because starting together and ending together just has a sweet way of bonding the whole experience. So I'm going to say we're not interested in part-time.
Okay. And the same is true for TM Youth Camp. Usually I deny those requests, but please let us know if you're saying I got to arrive late or I got to leave early. That kind of stuff we need to know coming into camp, because if you're planning to do either, it may be that it's not possible for you to come this year. Camp is cumulative, meaning that it builds on itself. And so in doing that, you can't miss pieces. So the reoccurring question I'm seeing is, what time do you have to arrive at TM Youth Camp? You have to be there between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. on Sunday for TM Youth Camp. Please, please, between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Sunday, July 7th. If you're just coming to PAL Camp, you do not have to be there until Monday at 4 p.m. And so those are the arrival times. Let's see here. Is a Sunday school teacher, this is a PAL Camp question, is a Sunday school teacher considered a leader, or the superintendent needs to attend PAL Camp? So
I would say if the pastor signs off, maybe superintendent can't make it for whatever reason, and he wants to send one of the Sunday school, or she wants to send a Sunday school teacher, that's fine.
Okay. I think we're getting to most of these questions. So I guess we could go ahead, and it looks like I'm going to wrap this one up unless there's anything else we need to address right now. Hi, Sister Angie. It's good to see you on here. I believe as a youth pastor, as a mom, TM Youth Camp is life-changing. But one thing I do want to add is that in a way, your young person has to be ready for it. If they never attend church or they don't know anything about God, this can be kind of like throwing them in the deep end. Yeah. And they're like, wait, what? I gotta wear this, I gotta be here. You do want to, if you're targeting somebody trying to use this to bring people in, please have them come to church first. Have them at least familiar with being in a Pentecostal environment where the Lord is moving and people are animated sometimes with their expression of praise, because it's pretty important. Can campers bring electronics to youth camp, Sister Harris?
We've always been opposed to them bringing electronics because, as we all know, that's an addiction within itself. However, however, we do know they travel with cell phones and sometimes iPads. Um, we're going to really keep trying to remind them not to be on that stuff, only when necessary. So I would say some of them do bring them, whether we say they're not allowed at youth camp at all. I will say to you, parents, if something happens to them, we are not going to be responsible because we really don't want them on the grounds. However, like I said, we do know they have cell phones and have iPads. And yes, if you let them bring those, but talk to them, because again, that's part of that still away time. And it's just it's one of those things that battle against their escape. I'll say that.
And
So yes, they can, but we don't just encourage it.
and they say Sister Harris, she's gotten more gentle as a grandmother. So I guess my rep is changing. They say I'm a little more gangster, because I would say if you send them with it, I do understand tracking your child and knowing where they are and blase blase, but you can put stuff on that so they can't just open apps to certain times. They don't need that. I can't tell you how many young people are in bed watching something they shouldn't be watching. I mean, just I can't. Sometimes it's just videos, or they have to be on TikTok, or they have to be on Instagram. We don't want that. So many of them are so addicted to it. I would say if you're going to send them with it, can you put some restrictions on it, parents, so that these hours they can't access, and you can track them and they can call you or FaceTime you, but let's make it just a brick for the week, if possible.
Let me say this, and parents that are watching, if you know of some good apps to block all this stuff that these kids are able to get into, too many of our kids are addicted to porn. And it's because we put the power, I'm just going to say it, we put the power for them to be lured into all these sites in their hands. So if y'all know some good apps to help protect our kids, why don't you go on our Facebook page or our website and post it so we can just keep sharing that information with parents. We would love to help you protect them.
Yeah. So I'm saying put some restrictions on it for them for the week. I understand you want to reach them. I would want to reach mine. Like I said, I have a 7th grader. She's not with me. She's in the dorm. So I do want to know where she is. But let's put some restrictions on that, because we're slaves to this here technology. So before we make this too serious, because we could definitely go there, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Sister, are there any last words you want to say?
You go first.
I didn't really know I was going to get a chance, but I would say God is going to move, and wherever he's moving, you need to be there, and you want your children there. And sometimes they may say, I don't know. That's normal. Everybody, for generations now, camp on Sundays, you deal with a lot of, I don't even want to be here, but just let them stay. God's presence changes everything. So you want your kid in this environment. You want them to come. You want their lives to change. And so make sure you get them there. And if you have any questions, anything, we are here for it. You can inbox us on any of our social media platforms. I think my phone number is somewhere on somebody's website because everybody has it. But if not, you can also call the church. We'll take the time to talk to you about it and about your child particularly. So get them there. God is going to change lives. He's going to speak purpose, and they're going to know him for themselves. Go ahead, sisters.
And just to conclude, for me, I want you to understand that TM Youth Camp is what God said it would be. And I will forever appreciate God for what He gave in 1979. Actually, the first camp was in 1980. I appreciate the almost 45 camps that I've been to. And I can tell you that God is going to do a great work. And I am so addicted to the move of God on the camp grounds. Having said that, I am so blessed to have lived long enough to be able to minister to my peer group and older. And we call that pastors and leaders. And I'm telling you, what God does at Pastors and Leaders Camp is going to strengthen you. And not only that, He's going to speak strategy and give sound doctrine for the hour that we are in. And I just believe, pastors and leaders, we've been through a storm. We could call this last 4 years a tsunami, but God knows what's coming. And I just believe He wants to gather us to speak so that we'll be unshakable, unmovable in this last and evil day. So I am hyped about youth camp. It strengthens my whole soul when the young people raise their hands and begin to praise the God I know. But at the same time, I am calling on my peer group and the pastors that may have grown up at camp and you haven't been in a while. You need to come back as an adult because God's still speaking. He's still forming principles that will govern your heart and help you be most effective in this last hour. So I'm just hoping to meet you, to see you at youth camp and see you at PAL camp this summer. Again, it's going to be what God ordained because we're not going to get in His way.
So we're going to do a few more of these where we come on and talk, or different people are going to come on and talk. So just stay tuned. Follow us on social media. And if there's nothing else, I just want to say God bless you. And until next time.
God bless you all. We love you. And we're praying for you. Keep us in your prayers.
Amen.
Amen.